Today we're going to be talking about Chapter 2, Design as Process. Step 1, define the problem. We chose scenario 1, and it says, when we did a bathroom remodel years ago, we initially hired a designer to draw up plans for us. The gentleman came with good credentials, years of experience, teaching classes at a university, and so on. Well, he was definitely creative, but he overwhelmed us with his initial assortment of plans, many of which were way off the wall, especially for a conservative couple. Some ideas were not even doable, such as putting a glass-enclosed shower outside on the deck. Huh? It was like he was purposefully just trying to impress us with the multitude of ideas he could come up with. When we asked for something more modest, he acted as though it were an insult to his creativity. He did come back with us with some traditional plans, but with extravagant prices for all the fixtures, cabinetry, and the like. He again acted offended when we requested to see some possible alternatives that would not be quite so expensive. We finally decided not to go with any of his ideas, paid him his fee, and were relieved to see him go. Yes, he was creative, but he did not seem to approach the project critically, just bouncing from one idea to another. We soon lost confidence. If he had come to us with one or two carefully thought out and organized plans and the willingness to consider our specific needs, structurally and financially, we would have been much more impressed. This was a story provided by Barbara Robbins. And the questions following are, how could the designer have handled the second meeting so that a more positive result for himself and the client occur? What do you see as the issue the designer needs to address about how he approaches his work with the client? Our first impressions are ego, not listening carefully, not having a conversation about what both sides' expectations are. Perhaps the design process could have helped him streamline things before he came to the client with a lot of ideas. He didn't really read his clients well, or they didn't feel heard. Did he ask what their budget was? We don't know his side. He wanted to use all the best hardware and fixtures, cabinetry, and the like, but he may not have given himself an explanation of the value that added to them, or he didn't know of more affordable alternatives. Either way, if he knew their budget, he wouldn't have given those options at all.
Step 2. Collect information. Points to consider from the chapter. Critical thinking, problem solving, decision making on top of creativity are required for interior design. In order to do this, we use the design process. The process is a series of steps, not always with clear start and stop points, but all require thinking critically. It helps ensure everything that must be done is taken care of. It is design problem solving for the problems or needs of the client. Analysis, obtaining, reviewing, and clarifying information, and setting goals, includes pre-design and programming. Synthesis, bringing all the info and tasks together to form a solution, includes schematic design, design development, contract documents, and contract administration. Additional information. I found an article about business services and client engagement on ACID's resources. The points I am getting that apply to this case. Clients have certain expectations in today's environment. They hire for knowledge and expertise, but they want to see evidence that the solutions and products the designer is proposing will perform as claimed. Clients want fast schedules and minimal costs. Finding a solution is not enough. Conversations addressing stakeholders' specific needs is more important. There is a raised bar for good design that addresses sustainability, health, and wellness, and is inclusive. Designers need to know how to integrate technology seamlessly into their overall design. Projects are increasingly complex, and considerations of many factors must be made in the solution. Designers have a growing divergence in clientele between those looking for a quick and easy, inexpensive solution and those who want and value a customized, full-service, quality, and more long-lasting solution. Clients' needs, budget, and understanding of the impact of design will affect the solution. Designers have to manage client expectations, provide knowledge and data during or before programming, demonstrate subject matter expertise connecting the dots for clients, gain the client's trust by doing the previous steps, lead the process by educating the clients about the process that's involved, how you work, and what they can expect. Explain the process to all parties involved in the project to make sure everyone has the same expectations. Vary how and what you communicate to the client and makers based on their needs. Designers may need to modify their design services.
Step 3. Brainstorm and analyze ideas. Our group decided to do scenario number 1, and in the following slides we all have the points to the questions that we answered. The first question was, how could the designer have handled the second meeting so that more positive result for himself and the client could occur? The designer from the start should have consulted with the clients about their preferences and budget just so he would get an idea of how things would run. He should have also acted a bit more professional towards the clients when it came down to critiquing. That is one of the challenges you face in the industry. Not every person may have the same preferences as yourself. In this situation, the designer should have taken into consideration that this project wasn't about his liking, but the client's. Our next question was, what do you see as the issue the designer needs to address about how he approaches his work with the client? The issue that the designer needs to address is his professionalism. He needs to be a bit more communicative with his clients to get a better understanding of their ideas. He made a project more about himself than the clients, and that's something they did not appreciate. Gabriella. This next slide is by Cynthia. The initial meeting should have covered the client's specific needs, and I don't believe that occurred. If after the initial presentation of ideas were not accepted by the clients, the designer could have collaborated with the client and spent a little more time getting to know them by their lifestyle. It sounds like the couple knew what they wanted, which should have been taken into careful consideration with designing. Based on the information we know about the couple, the designer did not make the proper observations to find an appropriate solution to their problem. Instead, he designed for himself and his ego, but failed to find a solution. I would also assume he did not collaborate with the clients, which is an important part in the design process. Ultimately, he did not find a solution for the clients. He designed for himself and not the clients, and he wasted the client's time and money. Lastly, we have Samaya's slide. In the case study, the designer's creativity was the one thing that attracted the clients, but he failed to problem solve for the needs of the client. He did not utilize the design process or design thinking to clearly define the problem, establish priorities, and expectations. This is when he could have gathered a lot more of their input and observed them to learn all he needed to create better options for them. Later, he was in the ideation phase with the clients when he should have moved into implementation and edited down his ideas to 1 or 2 solutions that were refined. If he had gathered more info at the beginning, he would have had all the knowledge he needed to bring forth a concise and specific solution. When he presented his work the first time, this was an opportunity to gather feedback and improve his design.
Chapter summary. Design is more than just about creating something. It involves a series of steps that may not always have a clear start or stopping point, and therefore require thinking critically. The steps we must take involve analyzing, synthesizing, and evaluating. Analysis involves obtaining, reviewing, and clarifying information and setting goals, while synthesis includes bringing all the information and tasks together to form a solution. It may involve schematic design, design development, contract documents, and contract administration. Finally, it is crucial for designers to evaluate and reevaluate the designs by consulting with the client, performing design reviews, and performing post-occupancy reviews. It is important to note that designs usually take more than just one try. Rarely do we go with the first design. It is also crucial to note that problems may arise at every step, and designers should be prepared to solve these problems using critical thinking. Designers are responsible for finding solutions to every part of the project, which may involve finding accessories, researching codes, working with others, and managing the project. Another important question we must always consider is, for whom do we design? Designers are required to design for the client, not for themselves. Professional projects must please the clients and stakeholders, not the designer's personal ego. A client might seek a designer for their creative design expertise, skills, and knowledge, but ultimately expect them to solve their personal problems. The term design problem solving is defined by achieving a solution to whatever problem the client has. Projects are winding roads, and the first solution is not always the best, even if the client wants cheaper, better, faster. Exploring various solutions helps you achieve solutions quicker in the long run. When evaluating choices, don't be afraid to collaborate with the client. After all, the design is for the client, not for you. Design thinking involves designs that can bring innovative thinking to problem solving. How does it work? Innovation to solve problems a person might not quite realize they want, or recognizing a need. As designers, we must always challenge ourselves to be more innovative and think to better solve client problems. We must understand the use of space in order to create functional and aesthetic solutions. Remember, beautiful is not always functional. It is also a designer's job to use time effectively. Designers must manage timelines and organize project tasks. Keeping a calendar with important deadlines, appointments, and tasks helps a designer manage time effectively. For every project, the designer is not only managing their own work, but also collaborating with contractors, architects, and other designers, so keeping a detailed list of tasks is crucial. Time is money, and you don't want to waste your own or your clients'. In conclusion, designers should always think critically when seeking solutions. Design is a process and should be taken very seriously at every step of the way. That concludes our presentation. Thank you so much.